Hello everybody, welcome to my Berserker's Rifleman / Commando / Archer build guide. So, I haven't done one of these videos in a long time, I think it was last year. I put the last build guide up, and since then we have had a lot of changes to the game. Obviously, patch 22 and Wasteland completely changed the balance of the game, and so I felt, hey, with this new patch, patch 23, let's do the build guide. So, Berserkers. Why would anyone want to run Berserkers? Well, I've ran Berserkers since the beta, and there's a reason for that. Berserkers is a very weird effect, and that it's actually the same strength as junkies and nocturnals. You see, junkies, berserkers, and nocturnals all max at 50% damage boost if you have a weapon with that effect on it. Obviously, nocturnals has armor that also coincides with it, but each of these 50% effects all have different disabilities, I would say. Negative effects. For example, with junkies, you have to be addicted to 5 different substances, usually 5 different chems, or an alcohol and 4 chems. You have to be addicted, which gives you negatives. With nocturnals, you obviously are losing damage during the day, but gaining a lot during nighttime. So you are kind of restricted to nighttime play. Now, with berserkers, you get that 50% damage bonus whenever you have absolutely zero damage resistance. So, why would you want that? Well, I find that berserkers gives you that happy medium between challenging and frustration. See, I don't like games that are easy. I've just never been into, games that are very easy to play. And for the most part, Fallout 76 is very easy whenever you play standard builds. Berserkers offers more of a challenge. It's not frustrating. See, there's a difference between challenge and frustrating. Berserkers is, I think, that perfect happy median. So, why Rifleman? Well, I found that, looking through all of the effects and how things work, Riflemen and Berserkers are basically the closest two you can get to, coincide. They're the weapon plus the effect that you can get to coincide the best. Another example would probably be shotguns you could probably do as berserkers, and maybe pistols. However, I wouldn't do pistols. You couldn't do a berserker's heavy gunner effect because heavy guns need that armor penetration from being in power armor, and obviously berserkers and power armor is not going to mix. So the median is Rifleman, Commando, and the bows now. So this first part of the video is going to go off the perks. Now, I change the perks depending on if I'm going with Rifleman, Commando, and Archer, though Archer and Rifleman are kind of the same. And that's simply if I'm playing on a team or if I'm playing solo. So, let's get into the first section with the perks. Here's my perk build for Rifleman. Let's go through each category, and then I'll go through the legendary categories as well. So, in strength, we have Traveling Pharmacy, Bandolier, and Blocker. Traveling Pharmacy is because you're going to be carrying a lot of chems, or at least healing chems. Radaway, Stimpaks, probably the most you're going to be carrying. Maybe some damage buffing chems, like maybe Overdrive as well. You're probably going to want those in this post-patch 22 Wasteland world. Bandolier, ammo. You're going to carry a lot of ammo. Nearly every build that uses a gun is going to want Bandolier. Obviously, right now, that's only rank 1. However, when we get into legendary effects, I'll explain a little bit more. So, just know that this will be rank 2 eventually, whenever I've gone through the legendary effects. Blocker. Another very important perk for Berserkers, as there are several perks that offer this type of advantage. Oh. See, with Blocker, it does not add damage resistance. Take 45% less damage. That is a percent. That means no matter how high your resistance is or how low it is, you take a 45% decrease in damage when you get hit. So if you get hit by an attack that normally would do 100, it would only do 65 damage. Rifleman. So, in perception, obviously Rifleman. Rifleman, all three things of Rifleman, I have 1 in Tank Killer, or 2 in Tank Killer, and 1 in Concentrated Fire. Now, you could use legendary effects, or the legendary perks, to boost your perception up. However, I find this is perfectly good for most enemies in the game. Yes, I'm missing out on 12% more armor pen, and more things of Concentrated Fire would help. However, I find the base one is pretty much just as good as like rank 2 and 3 most of the time, depending on what you're shooting at. So, another thing you could have added to this is Glow-Sighted. Glow-Sighted is a very powerful perk because it just, anytime you're fighting glowing enemies, you get a very large increase in damage. So, Endurance. Now, why I have really high endurance instead of over there you see I have very, very low agility. There are kind of 2 ways to play a Berserker build. Obviously, stealth. A lot of Berserkers would probably go with a stealth build. However, I don't like stealth. I've never liked stealth gameplay in Fallouts. I don't like games where enemies don't fight back. I've never liked that. So, what I go with is lots of health. Health is, the more health you have, the more damage you can take, the more times you can get hit. So that's what kind of all these are based around. So, Life Giver. That just gives you more health. It's just a straight up health increase. Nocturnal Fortitude, you can take this one off. Now, obviously, it only works at nighttime. However, that is, more health. Plus 20 health, and if I had rank 2, that would be, plus 40 more health. So between this and Life Giver here, if you had both of them all of them ranked up, that's 85%. That's 85 more health. At night. Obviously, that's a niche thing at night. Ghoulish. Ghoulish is a very good perk because it heals you in combat. This is something, you just run into radiation, you just get healed in combat. Any enemy that does radiation damage will heal you if you have Ghoulish rank 3 on. Especially melee enemies that have glowing on them. So, like a glowing hermit crab, or a glowing super mutant hound, or a glowing mole man, or a glowing gulper, or something like that does radiation damage, they now heal you whenever they attack you with Ghoulish rank 3. Adamantium Skeleton, a very important perk. Because you have no armor, your limbs without this would break basically every time you get hit. This is kind of a necessity for a Berserker's build, if you're going to be getting hit a lot. Rejuvenated, because this gives you more health. Again, more health and AP regen. AP regen is also very good for Berserkers. And we went over Life Giver already. So yes, in Charisma, Lone Wanderer, Travel Agent, and Tenderizer, rank 2. Lone Wanderer is a very good perk when playing alone, because it provides 2 bonuses. One, you just take less damage, a percentage of less damage again. It's not damage resistance, it is just less damage. And you also have the AP regen. So Travel Agent, just to travel, and then Tenderizer, okay, because you get more damage out of it. More damage out of consecutive shots, very good. Intelligence. First aid, just to let your stimpaks just do more, and batteries included, because if you're going to use energy weapons, which several rifleman weapons are, and commando weapons, they're energy. So this is very good. Dodgy. Another amazing, amazing perk for Berserker's builds. Avoid 30% of incoming damage at the cost of, action points. Rank 2. I only have, or rank 3 gives you 30, rank 2 gives you 20. Still good at 20, because when you combine that with Lone Wanderer and Blocker, melee enemies basically do no damage to you. And then, here we have a lot of luck. Bloody Mess, get more damage. Tormentor, to, break limbs easier. Ricochet, again, another damage reduction perk. Not resistance, reduction. 18% chance to deflect back, damage at the enemy. Basically, when something shoots you, you have a chance to take less damage from it. Obviously, you see the theme here. Take less damage, take less damage, take less damage, take less damage. Class Weak because we have mutations, and Starch Genes because we have mutations, and Luck of the Draw just because, your weapon can repair itself then. Alright, so now we shall move on to what the perk build looks like when using Commando. This is how it looks when I use Commando weapons. Obviously, most of the stuff is going to be nearly the same, however there are changes to Perception and Charisma. So, Commando, 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 instead of Rifleman, Rifleman, Rifleman. Keep the same about with these, and then in Charisma, you're probably wondering why aren't you using Lone Wanderer, because when I play Commando, I am always in a group. When I use Commando weapons, I use them in a group. I just find, Commando weapons are great in a group because it allows you, just to spray ammo, and, you have other people who are going to be giving you ammo, and it's just a great big amount of DPS when you're in a group and you're all firing at stuff. So, that's why we have Tenderizer, or not Tenderizer, we have Field Surgeon and Strange in Numbers. So, Field Surgeon is a really cool perk in that it makes your stim packs and Radaway work much, much faster. So, obviously, combined with Ghoulish, you're going to be heal your radiation up while your health is healing, and you can take a lot of damage. Strange in Numbers, share this, give everyone a boost to their mutations. And everything else is the same. So now we'll talk about the mutations I use. I use 3 mutations. Healing Factor, Speed Demon, and Twisted Muscles. You're probably wondering why Twisted Muscles, we'll get into that. Healing Factor. Healing Factor is a pretty weird perk in that it reduces the amount that your chems do, however it gives you super good health regen. However, the health regen is only outside of combat. So, you just use less impacts whenever you have this. After a fight, you just let your health re-heal. I really like the perk, some people don't like it, but that's also why I have First Aid on, in order to get those stim packs to basically overcome the negative effect of Healing Factor. Speed Demon. Faster movement speed and faster run speed. Twisted Muscles is there because I have a melee weapon. So yes, that's the mutations. Now we'll get into the legendary perks. This is currently the legendary perks I'm using. However, I do not have the last rank because I do not have a character that is level 300. So, Ammo Factory. Just make more ammo. There's nothing bad about that perk. Some people don't like it because, they already have lots of ammo. Yes. What Rads? What Rads is a pretty good perk because it removes your radiation slowly, allowing you to save Radaway, meaning that you could just sit there while your radiation is removed. Now, you're probably wondering why don't I rank that up? Because it adds radiation resistance. Now, radiation resistance does not affect the Berserker's effect. So, you can have as much radiation resistance as you want, but it doesn't matter. The reason I don't is because of I want radiation damage. Because radiation heals you, and we'll get into some cool stuff you can do with radiation damage and healing later. Intelligence, because so you can mod your own weapons, you can equip more perks. Taking one for the team. Great perk for a non-stealth Berserkers. Enemies take 30% more damage when they attack you, if you're on a team. You're going to be taking damage as the Berserkers. Why not get rewarded for it? And Survival Shortcut, just for convenience sake, because just being able to use a chem to get your health, to get your hunger up and your water up is really good. And in the 5th slot, what I would do, I would select probably, oh, there's that perk activating. I would probably go with just more strength. That's probably what I'm going to go with, just so I can equip the Bandolier and other perks like that. Because there's nothing really else here for a perk that I would use. I mean, obviously, the power armor ones are useless for me. Follow through, I don't stealth that much. I don't really stealth at all. Far-flung fireworks might be good, to get more damage out there, but I find I'm going to go with more strength, just to equip Bandolier rank 2 so I can carry more ammo. Alright, so now we shall get into what weapons I use for Berserkers, Rifleman, and Berserkers Commando. And Berserkers Archer. So, this is my main weapon I use for Berserkers Rifleman. A Berserkers Explosive Lever Action. It does pretty good damage at 222, I find that the lever action is a great, well-rounded weapon. It's not too slow. It doesn't blow through ammo, even though you can make it so that if you had a faster fire rate one with the hair trigger receiver, you can do that. However, I find the Berserker's lever action is pretty good for basically every enemy in the game. It's not amazing for every enemy in the game. There are obviously better choices. So yeah, another rifle I use a lot is this one. This was given to me a long time ago now. Berserker's Explosive Faster Reload Speed Musket. Black powder rifle. It's a musket. Or muzzle loader, because I don't know if it's rifled or not. But yes, why would you want this? It does a lot of damage in a single shot. So, for most enemies, your lever action is going to be perfectly good. However, some enemies have a lot of health, and they are very large. Just like whenever you go elephant hunting, you don't bring a small caliber gun, you bring your big elephant gun. So this is my elephant gun. Well, one of them. This is very good against basically Mirelurk Queens, Yaoguai, Deathclaws. You can kill Deathclaw with a lever action too, but you can use this against, I wouldn't really say Wendigo Colossuses, but, this is different about bosses. So we'll get into the bosses later too. You can use this on the Sheep Squatch, pretty much anything. You bring your big gun to deal with the big enemies. Except for bosses, because bosses are in a league of their own. Another weapon you can use against pretty much anything in the game. A gauze rifle. Gauze rifles might be slow, but they provide a lot of damage. And you can see this one is pretty good. Berserkers with another 10% damage when aiming, and +1 perception. Pretty good. Now, I also carry this revolver on me. You're probably wondering, why would you carry a revolver on you? Well, 1, this has 90% reduced weight, so it weighs nothing. 2, this is actually a pretty good weapon to deal with low-level Scorched. If you're walking around the forest, or I think the ash heap as well, 2 or 3 shots to the head with this thing, most Scorched are dead, Human-sized targets are not bullet sponges in this game, and they do not require a really good weapon. I'm not even spec'd to use this, and it does 123 damage. It could be doing more if I had Demolition Expert. However, I feel that it's perfectly fine. And it does kind of fairly similar damage to a spec'd pistol build using an anti-armor one. Because I also have a pistol build, which I might do a guide on. Let's get into the weapons I use for Commando. When I'm running Commando. The weakest one probably being this. This is a Berserker's faster rate of fire assault rifle. Firing pretty fast at 98, almost doing 100 in the rate of fire. However, it has fairly low damage at 78. Now, this thing does have okay DPS. It's not great, but it could be better. And I kind of use this whenever I'm just, doing events. If I'm going to go into a boss fight or do something harder, I would not bring this thing. I have better weapons. For example, I have this. A Berserker's VATS Crit Shot Handmade. It has the Screaming Eagle skin on it for right now, but while it does have a slower rate of fire, it does more damage at 107 per shot. This weapon is pretty good. I, really like it. If it's better than the assault rifle, however, I find that the assault rifle, just the rate of fire, is better against trash mobs. Better against trash mobs than low-level trash mobs than this thing. Now, the best weapon I have for this is probably this fixer. This is a Berserker's fixer. It doesn't say Berserker's fixer, right? However, it is. It is a Berserker's fixer with faster rate of fire. Now, I do have the automatic 38 receiver on it, and I've went over this of why I use the automatic 38 receiver. It's because the automatic 38 receiver does minuscule less damage than a powerful auto receiver, and it uses a different ammo type than 45. See, this, if you have another 45, if you have another weapon that shoots 45, and you don't want to use up ammo for it, like how I have the lever action when I'm running Rifleman, this, converting the weapon to fire 38, is a very good option. 38s are everywhere, they're very easy to get, I have a lot of them, and the damage is still really good. And you can now put skins on the fixer. As you can see, I have the Dark Matter skin on here. Now, another weapon that I haven't gone into is this one. This one right here. This quad critical VATS hit chance gamma gun. I almost said radiation emitter. Gamma gun. Now, you're probably thinking, why do you have this? Well, this gun is not for shooting at enemies. This gun is for shooting at the ground. You see, this is the most powerful healing thing in the game whenever you have a Berserker's build. Because what you can do is this. Allowing you to heal yourself. And then you simply use a Radaway. And this works faster. I will show how this thing works in combat if you haven't seen any of my other videos. This thing is amazing for healing, and it saves you so many stim packs. It is the fastest heal in the game. It will heal basically your entire health bar in a second. You shoot it at the ground, you are healed. It is a great thing to have for Berserkers. Alright, and now that all that is done, explaining everything, and if you have your doubts of the Berserker's build, let's go shoot things. So I'm going to go with Rifleman weapons for now. So, let's talk about armor. Now, there are kind of two other ways in order to achieve the 0 damage resistance of Berserkers. Now, I subscribe to the idea of just don't wear any armor. However, the other two you could use are lowering your damage with Med-X addiction, or wearing broken armor. Now, one of those I don't think is worth it. The other one, I can see the point. I don't think using Med-X to reduce, getting addicted to Med-X in order to reduce your damage resistance, in order for, you to wear certain armors is worth it. Because at that point, you just run junkies. There's already an effect in the game that rewards you for getting addicted to chems. Why are you using a chem, getting addicted to a chem, just to make an effect sort of work with it? Junkies and Berserkers are both 50% damage at their max. So just use a Junkie's weapon if you're going to be getting addicted to chems. I never liked the idea of getting addicted to Med-X. Another person suggested, oh, you should run low health with Berserkers in order to get the adrenal reaction and nerd rage boost. At that point, you're just gimping yourself. You're just being a gimped bloodied build. You might as well just use a bloodied weapon if you're going to use low health. The other ways that people have done Berserkers is wearing broken armor. Broken armor provides no damage resistance because it's broken. However, some of the legendary effects still work on it. Now, the problem I have with broken armor is, one, I play the Berserker's build, so I don't have to grind. There's basically no grinding involved with Berserkers. You get your Berserker's weapon, you're done. You're done grinding. You don't have to grind gold bullion to get the Secret Service armor. You don't have to grind for power armor. You don't have to do any of that. The problem I have with grinding for armor and the RNG is just, I don't want to deal with that. The other problem I have with broken armor, and I'm not saying that broken armor is a bad option. It's a good option, right? Broken armor is good. It's just that I don't want to do it, right? So the other problem I have with broken armor is what happens when you go into a nuke zone. Like, if you nuke White Springs. On Xbox, White Springs gets nuked still very often. I don't know about the PC version, but White Springs is still a hot place that people go to, nuke. So, if you're going in there, you're going to have to wear a Hazmat Suit or power armor. And if you're wearing power armor, well, you've defeated the purpose of being Berserkers, as now you have negative damage. As Berserkers and Nocturnals are the only two effects to apply negative damage. So, the other option, a Hazmat Suit. What happens when you put on a Hazmat Suit? All your armor comes off. So, now you can't equip your broken armor again. That's a problem I have with that, is that now you have to repair all that armor, put it on again, have it all break, and then, you know, do that again. You have to keep repeating this process every time you want to go into a nuke zone, or if you're doing a radiation rumble and you want to go get the ore down there, you know, you have to put on a hazmat suit or power armor. Or maybe you can use a rad shield, but I still don't think that's enough. That's one of the reasons I don't use the broken armor stuff. That's why I just prefer wearing nothing. And so yeah. Now, for those who have been doubting, you know, the Berserker's build, let's go shoot stuff. Okay, I thought I'd show off the weakest weapon first, being this Berserker's explosive revolver. And here is a low-level scorch. 1, 2. 2 shots to the head with it. That's why I keep it around. It's fairly decent versus, you know, the simple forest scorch. Body shot, I think it's a 3 or 4 shot kill. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not terrible. Just dealing with these low-level enemies, I don't feel like wasting my rifleman or commando weapons.
Don't count.
Ooh, he took 3 shots. That's rare. Must have had more health or did a random amount of damage. I think you kind of get the point of this weapon. It's just meant for, you know, low-level enemies. Mole rats, scorched, even low-level super mutants. Or, I say low-level, I mean forest-level super mutants. If you're able to get criticals with this thing, I think you can one-shot these scorched. Or you might be able to, I'm not sure. Let's find another one to kill. There should be more in the cafeteria in here. Get my AP back. Oh, can't quite one-shot. Cannot quite one-shot them with this revolver. Alright, I think you get the point of it. It's just made for, you know, scorched. You know, when you're farming. Let's get on. Alright, so here we are with the gulpers in order to show you this weapon. Berserker's explosive 50% reload musket, doing 518 damage. Thanks to an additional buff by a ballistic block, which I have 1 minute left, so let's use it. Headshot. 909 damage. Pretty good, and apparently that did nothing. Alright, so here we are with the lever action. That does 225 damage a shot. Gonna go fight super mutants, and maybe I can show off the effects of the healing gun as well. Because knowing them, there's going to be a minigun in here. Ah yes, perfect chance. Okay, game I did not shoot. Okay, you see my health is low? Bam, healed.
Head.
227 on the head, alright.
Leave our birthplace.
Not terrible damage. I mean, super mutants are a bit tanky now, but...
My arm.
Oh, it's 3 hits to kill that. I feel like this. I don't like stealth gameplay, how they're not shooting back. It's not that fun for me. Oh, that is a missile launcher. Get rid of our radiation. need to heal yet. Alright. Again. Need to heal. Bam. Oh, that's a boss one. Super Mutant Gladiator. Are you new? Right, need to heal again. Switch. Switch back. I don't know, perfectly acceptable, I find. What's that, 3 or 4 shots to Superman's chest to kill them, 2 to the head? If the one's a critical, but yeah. That Superman Warlord took a bit more shots than I would like, but, or Superman Gladiator here. He was fairly tough. So yeah, I think you get the point. I think if you run a junkies build, you know, you'd see similar effects. Obviously, they, like I said, they both cap out at 50%. Take a Stimpack there. 209 damage on a Superman's head. Supermans do have a lot of resistance. The only problem I have with the lever action is sometimes it just stops reloading. Game, that was a headshot. And you can see healing factor work there. That's how you know there's no more enemies around. Just let healing factor heal you right back up. And we're good. I think you get the point of the Berserker's build. You still take damage. Like I said, it is a good point between having a challenge versus frustrating. There's a difference. There's an in-between. So, alright.